Welcome to Set Book Guide Kenya. Today, we're diving into the theme of corruption as explored in Fathers of Nations. We'll be looking at an essay written by a student who scored an impressive 1620. Clearly, it was a solid essay. Stick around for tips on how to write essays like this and ace your exams. Let's get started. Corruption in Fathers of Nations. Corruption refers to the abuse of power or authority for personal gain, often at the expense of fairness and justice. In Paul B. Vitter's Fathers of Nations, corruption is a central theme that underscores the failures of leadership and governance in Africa. Through the actions of key characters and the unfolding events, the novel paints a vivid picture of how corruption manifests in different forms, crippling progress and eroding public trust in institutions. By examining corrupt practices like clinging to power, misuse of public resources, and destabilization through coups, Vitter sheds light on the far-reaching consequences of this vice. One example of corruption in the novel is leaders clinging to power at all costs. The Libyan leader, who has ruled for over 20 years, adamantly refuses to step down despite public outcry and widespread dissatisfaction. His refusal highlights the authoritarian tendencies of leaders who view power as their personal entitlement rather than a responsibility to serve the people. By holding on to power, such leaders often suppress dissent and manipulate institutions to maintain their grip on authority, leaving their countries in stagnation. This situation demonstrates the inability of corrupt leaders to allow democratic transitions, which are essential for the growth and stability of any nation. The Libyan leader's actions expose the selfishness and disregard for the welfare of citizens that lie at the heart of political corruption. Another form of corruption explored in the novel is the greed of individuals who exploit public resources for personal gain. Walomu, a member of parliament, owns 4 luxurious cars despite his modest salary, which is far too low to support such a lavish lifestyle. His ability to accumulate wealth is attributed to bribery and other unethical practices. This depiction reflects the reality of leaders who manipulate systems to enrich themselves at the expense of taxpayers. Walomu's actions symbolize how corruption not only drains public resources but also creates inequality, as those in power live extravagantly while the majority of citizens struggle to meet their basic needs. By focusing on Walomu, Vitter highlights the stark contrast between the privileged lifestyles of corrupt officials and the suffering of ordinary people, illustrating how personal greed undermines societal progress. The novel also addresses corruption through the lens of military coups, which arise from dissatisfaction with corrupt governance. Wasiwasi Wesinga references coups as a desperate response to oppressive regimes that fail to serve their citizens. While coups are often justified as a way to overthrow corrupt leaders, they usually lead to further instability and violence, plunging nations into chaos. This depiction reveals a vicious cycle where corruption at the top provokes drastic actions, only to perpetuate more suffering. Through this theme, Vitter critiques not just the corrupt regimes, but also the methods used to oppose them, emphasizing that genuine change cannot come from actions that deepen the chaos. Coups symbolize the breakdown of governance and the devastating effects of corruption on national unity and security. Finally, Saif Tahir's character reflects the personal disillusionment caused by systemic corruption. As an ordinary citizen, Tahir feels trapped and powerless within a system designed to serve the interests of the elite. His frustrations mirror the struggles of many Africans who suffer under corrupt systems that deny them opportunities for growth and fairness. Tahir's experiences highlight how corruption erodes trust in leadership and creates widespread apathy among citizens who feel their voices and concerns are irrelevant. By showcasing Tahir's disillusionment, Vitter emphasizes the emotional and psychological toll corruption takes on individuals, leaving them hopeless and disconnected from their nations. In conclusion, Fathers of Nations presents corruption as a significant barrier to Africa's progress. The refusal to relinquish power, the misuse of public resources, the destabilizing effects of coups, and the despair of citizens like Tahir reveal the deep and pervasive impact of corruption on all aspects of society. The novel teaches a powerful lesson. For Africa to thrive, leaders must prioritize accountability and integrity, and citizens must demand transparency and fairness in governance. Through this, the continent can break free from the cycle of corruption and pave the way for a brighter future. Thanks for tuning in to Set Book Guide Kenya. Let's quickly reflect on today's essay before we close. One weaker point was Safe to Hear's argument. It lacked depth because it didn't explore the challenges he faced, instead jumping to the advantages. This shows the importance of elaborating on your points. Also, Wasiwasi Wesinga's point stood out. It was unique to focus on the repercussions of coups, but a balance between causes and effects would have strengthened it further. Now, here are 5 tips for writing a stellar essay. 1. Start with a strong topic sentence. For example, the essay opened with "leaders clinging to power at all costs," a bold statement that immediately grabbed attention and set the tone for the paragraph. 2. Provide detailed explanations. This is key to scoring highly. Don't just state facts or examples, dig deeper. For instance, instead of just saying Walomu has 4 cars despite a modest salary, explain how this shows corruption and greed and link it to the larger theme of inequality. Detailed analysis not only makes your essay rich, but also demonstrates your understanding of the text. Aim to explore the why and how behind each example, ensuring you leave no question unanswered for the examiner. 3. Balance your arguments. Don't get stuck on one perspective. For instance, while discussing coups, balance the causes with the effects to provide a full picture. This shows critical thinking and earns extra points. 4. Use examples from the text. Always ground your essay in evidence. Mention characters like Walomu, Wasiwasi Wesinga, or Safe Tahir to support your points. Specific examples make your arguments stronger and more convincing. Conclude each paragraph effectively. Tie your points back to the essay topic. For example, after discussing Walomu, conclude by linking his greed to the larger theme of corruption in governance. This keeps your essay focused and impactful. Follow these tips and you're sure to craft essays that stand out. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to help spread the good news about excellent essay writing. If you'd like your essay to be featured in future videos, submit it to our email, mwangisk01@gmail.com. That's mwangisk01.com. Wishing you all the best in your set book studies and exams. Until next time, stay safe, keep reading and keep excelling. Goodbye.